Alright, so here's our game so far, and when we play it, we get coins, but it doesn't count them up. So let's go ahead and start counting them up. And we're going to do this using a scene variable. So a scene variable will only work in the scene, right? This scene. So it'll only work in the scene. A global variable will work in all the scenes. So that's the main difference. And let's get to it. So first thing we want to do, let's go ahead and create a new object. And we are going to use text. So we're going to create a text object. All right, object name, I'm calling it score display. You can call yours whatever you want. This just helps me keep track of things. And I'm going to go a size of 50, make it bold, and I'm going to type in score ... Okay, so this is what I got so far. Hit apply. And I'm going to bring this over and drop it in. All right, so when I play this, I can't see it. Right, I can't see that. This is annoying. All right, now I can see it. So we have a problem. I want this to show up all the time. And to do this, it's an easy fix. All I'm going to do is move this from my base layer to my front. Right, so now this is going to be there all the time. And let's preview. Right now, no matter where I go now, it stays. The sound is getting a little bit annoying. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Okay, get coin. I'm just going to dump this to 25%. And where else is play a sound? %. So now it's not going to be obnoxious nonstop. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to our scene. And we're going to open up settings. Settings right here. Click it. And what we're going to mess with is edit scene variables. Edit scene variables. And here we are. Okay, right now we have our walking scene variable. And we're going to create a new one. So add variable. And we're creating the variable called score. And we want it to be a number, right? So this is the type of variable. And you can switch them. But the one we want is number. And we're starting our score at 0. Hit apply. Okay, so now we've created our variable, and the variable starts at 0. Let's go ahead and create a new event group. And I'm going to name it score. And I'm going to move it. I'll just move it up here. All right. Next, I'm going to create a new event. And I'm going to put it into my score. Maybe I should have left it up top. Boo. Yeah, that was a mistake. That's fine. Okay. Score. Condition. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm just going to reuse this one. I'm just going to bring that into there. All right, so my score. hero collides with the coin. It deletes the coin, plays the sound effect, right? So what I want to do is add a new action. Add action, and I'm going to change variable value. Change variable value. And the variable I want is score, because that's what we're messing with. And what I want to do, see modification sign, I don't want it to set a number, I want it to add a number, right? Because you're hitting a coin, so you want to add one coin. So every time you touch a coin, it's going to add 1 to that variable called score that we had currently set to 0. So each time you hit the coin, it's going to add 1. Okay? Alright, hero collides with coin, deletes the coin, plays the coin sound, and adds 1 to our variable. Next, let's go ahead and bring this in. Okay, condition we want is to be always, because we want to display the score, the variable, on the screen. So always, and then we're going to add an action. Here we go. Text. And the object is the score display. And we want it to set to. And now we're going to put in that original text that we had, which was quote score right? So all this is the text that we created. That's all that is. And now what we're going to do is add plus variable. So that's just our variable. And then we want to use the word string with a capital S. And string just means print on the screen, show it on the screen. That's all that is. And then we're going to call it our variable score. Okay. So it's the score plus whatever the number in our score variable is. That's all that is. Hit OK. So always change the text of the score display to score plus whatever that variable number is. That's what's happening. Let's see it. All right, we can see it's counting up, so that's great. Now, this that we just done is only set to the scene variable, right? So just this scene that we have going on. And why would you want to do that? So say, for instance, you were creating a game where the first level you need to collect 100 coins in order to beat the game, right? So then you would create an if-then schedule, if-then statement. If variable coin equals 100, then change scene, and then the scene goes to the next level, right? So that's one reason that you would want it to only be in one scene. But if we want to use the coins in the entire game, then we want to change it from a scene variable to a global variable. So let's switch the styles up. We're going to click on these up here, and global variables. And then we're going to add a variable. And I'm going to call this variable score. And it's going to be a number, and we're going to start with 0. Right, very similar to what we did before, but it's a global variable instead of a scene variable. Apply it, and now we have our global variable set. Close this out. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our events. So right now, let me zoom in. So this is a scene variable. That's what that little icon is. Oh man, it's so small that I can't even see it. Okay, there we go. So what I want to do is change this from my scene variable to my global variable. So I'm just going to double click and add or edit variables. And switching to my globals. Actually, let's delete this. I'm going to delete this scene variable, right? And switch to my globals. Select it. Apply. Okay. And now you can see when I zoom in, whoa, what happened? Whoa, what happened? Did I just delete something? I did just delete something. There we go. Okay, so I changed the variable to the global variable. So it went from the scene variable to the global variable. So all I did was just change it over. No big deal. All right. So when I preview the game, it is not going to work. Oh, you can't even see score. All right, so it's not working. And the reason that it's not working is because in our change the text score display, I have it set to variable string, but we're not in the scene variable anymore. It has to be the global variable string. So all I have to do is change this, and it's very easy. Double click, and I just write global variable string. Hit OK. I'm going to save this because it's time. Preview it. And hopefully this works. Of course, I don't have this score showing. There we go. I'm not going to let this bat get me this time. And it's working. So that is the difference between global and scene variables. Global will work with all the scenes. Scene will only work in the one scene. All right, let's go ahead and create a life system. So first thing we want to do, new object, sprite, and I'm going to call this heart. Create in Piscal. I'm going to make this 64 by 64. And I'm just going to make a heart. It's a wonky heart, but whatever. There we go, good enough. Okay. I'm going to add some red. So there's my heart. Now, I'm going to open it. Make a copy. Apply. and then I'm going to create a new object. And this one's going to be a tiled sprite instead of a regular sprite, tiled sprite. And I'm going to call it tile heart 64 by 64. And this is crucial, this number 64 by 64. And I will show you why shortly. Create in Piskel. Again, make sure it's 64 by 64. Paste it. Save it. Apply it. Okay. Now let's go and place our regular heart in the game. I'll move this potion over. And then I'm going to move my tile heart underscore. And I want this to show up all the time, so I'm going to move it just like I did with my score to my front layer so that it's there at all times. And let's just double check, make sure it's working. Looks good. Okay, now let's go ahead and go into our events and let's create a new group. And let's call this group health. And I'm going to move this out. I'll bring this down here. It'll be easier to manage. Where'd it go? Man, why is this so hard? There we go. Okay. Here's our health. And I'm going to, in my health, I'm going to create a condition. Hero. Variable value. And what I'm going to do is create a variable. So what I'm doing is I'm attaching a variable to my hero. So I'm just going to click this little button right here. Add variable. And I'm going to name this variable health. And I'm going to start my number at 2. Whoa. And the reason I'm starting the number at 2 is because I want the hero to start with 2 lives. So again, on this hero, there is a variable called health, and it starts off with the number 2. So that's what's happening. Apply it. Okay. All right. Next, add a condition. Hero collides with heart. And make sure you have the regular heart, not the tile heart. And now what we want to do is change the object variable. So the action is going to be hero. And then it's change the object variable value. And our variable value that we're going to mess with is health. And when we touch the heart, we want to add 1, right? Because when you touch the heart, you're going to get 1 life. So again, we're adding to our health variable in our hero. We're just adding 1. That's all that's happening here. All right, I've created my variable, so I don't need this information anymore. Right, so now hero is in collision with heart. It changes the health variable of the hero. It just adds 1. So we started at 2. And when we hit it, it goes to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., etc. All right, another event. And with this one, we want our condition to be always. So we're going to leave that blank. And we're going to add an action. And the object we're going to mess with is tile heart. And it's going to be the width. And now we're going to add some math in here. Hero dot variable and if you didn't name your player hero, then it's whatever the name is. And then the name of the variable messing with is health. All right, so all that's happening here is we're taking whatever number is in your health variable, and we're going to multiply that by 64. So star 64. So what's happening is we're changing the width of this tile heart to change however many you have, right? Because this is 64. So if your number was 2, it would be 128. Yeah, 128 would be the width, and so it would show 2 of these, right? 512, 64, 128, 256, 512, etc. All right, let's save it and check it out. All right, so now we can see I've got 2 hearts here, right? Because I currently have 2 lives, so it starts off my variable on my health variable on my guy is 2, so 2 times 64 would be 128, which is 2 of these. And then I hit this one, and it's going crazy. So that's not good. And the reason for that is when it's touching it, it's just adding more and more and more, right? And we don't want that. So let's go back. Collision with heart, change the health variable, add 1, delete object. And the object we want to delete is the heart. And let's go ahead and move this first, right? So it deletes the heart, then it adds. Now let's check it out. There we go. And everything looks cool, right? I'm going to drop down and restart. And hey, it went back to 2. Perfect. It's not perfect. And let me tell you why. So I'm going to throw another heart up here. And I'll throw another heart right here. Okay. So what's happening, right, I get my hearts, everything is cool, and then I fall down, and I went back down to 2. And the reason for that is because when I touch death, where is it? When I collide with death, it just restarts the scene to the untitled scene. So I'm just starting from scratch with only 2 hearts. So I need to change this. So let's go down to my health. And I'm going to add a new event. So when my hero collides with the kill zone, or the death, I'm just going to basically do the opposite of this, right? So instead of adding 1 to the health variable, I'm going to subtract. So I can just copy this, move it down, and change it from add to subtract. Right, and all I did was hero, change object variable value, health is the value, subtract 1, right? Either way, it doesn't matter. It does the same thing. All right, let's test it. Fail. And it failed because I have an order of operations issue. Because first, we have collision with death resets the scene. So we need to get rid of this completely. Now let's preview it and try it again. And now I'm just falling and falling and falling. All right, that is not happening. So what we need to do is update. All right, so we got rid of our touching the kill zone and restarting the game. So now we have to create a spawn point. So let's do that. Go to our scene, and we're going to add a new object, and it's going to be a sprite, and I'm just going to call this spawn. Okay, and I'm going to bring this over to where I want my spawn to be. And I can bring the Z order to -2. So now it's behind my hero. Okay. So now I have my spawn point. And I'm going to go to my events. And I'm going to add hero is in collision with death. I want it to add an action. Hero position, and I'm going to set my X position to the spawn point, right? So it'd be spawn dot X brackets. So that's my Y position, and then my X position, and then spawn dot Y, close it off, and that's my Y position. So all I'm doing is saying, hey, when you hit the kill zone, you're going to move the hero to this position, spawn X and spawn Y, which is right here, right? So let's move that up, preview this. And try it. All right, that works. So now look, I've got 4, goes down to 3. So I've got 3, 2, I've got 4, goes down to 3, and it's working. All right, I'm going to move this collision of death for the spawn point up to my collisions. And I'm basically going to model this, but add it for blade, right? So it does the same thing. So copy, paste, delete that, drop Drop that in. And do the same for my bat and my bad guy. And let's preview. Okay, I'm at 4. I'm at 3. Looks good. It's working. All right. And this is a good time to stop.